Приветствую всех любителей интересного геймплея. Очередная часть прохождения Disco Elysium. Так, мы с вами тут рубище. Я делал перерыв. Пару дней даже. Заболел немного.
There's no way the perp is in here, officer. Look how scarred the boards are. All attempts to pry them off have failed.
Оторвать провалились. Так, ладно.
Not this time. The opposition is insurmountable. But I like the spirit. Have some points. It's lonely and cold without points.
Закончить мысль, указать.
The suspect? God, I hope not. I can't see a way in, though many have tried.
Закончить мысль. Окей, здесь ее нет. Нам прям на это грубо указали. Забыла, что там по этой. А, ну это можно через задачи, конечно же. Так. Пятница, кстати. Возьмите ответственность. Найдите кого-нибудь с техническим... А, это в церковь. Проведите дополнительный анализ, подключив координацию. Это пулька. Так. Где она у нас? Вот она.
The bullet is still safely sealed away in a plastic bag.
Координация. Одна. Сколько там до следующего уровня? 70. Давай. Начнем именно с этого. Накидаемся координация. Да, я немного заболел, поэтому не знаю, смогу ли долго комментировать. Может, горло сейчас заболеет. Ой-ой-ой. Вы также, да, не заметили, что я делал перерыв? Координация. Че, нет координации? Да и фиг с ней, да, сохранился. Да поехали.
The bullet is still safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp.
К тому же координация будет повышенная.
The bullet is still safely sealed away in a plastic rifle, Revolutionary period. Your bullet looks to be an old 4.46 millimeter from the surplus left over from the turn of the century, probably an antique or a retrofitted antique. The 4.46 caliber was widely used with the Belmargrave rifle, a Revacholian manufacturer. The BM dominated the battlefields of the Insulindian theatre of the anti-centennial revolution 50 years ago. Incidentally, you have just such a rifle with you, the dusty old thing you found hidden in the basement below the commercial area. It's unusable, sadly. If it were, the bullet would probably fit the chamber. No, but Zeliger, a major firearm manufacturer, ended up with a surplus after the war, so there are still a lot of these old military rifles floating around, usually broken. The quality was appalling. Antiques enthusiasts, guerrilla fighters in distant countries, a few lucky jamrock bangers, you're looking for the same thing you found in that hidden weapons cache, only in working order.
What are you thinking? Bullet? Okay, and?
Ну, возможно. Кое-какие мысли, но я не уверен, но возможно.
An antique. That makes sense. There can't be many breech-loading rifles floating around in Martinez or anywhere in Ravachol, really. Sure, there's some arms trafficking, but the laws prohibiting the use of breech loaders we inherited from the monarchy have been effective, from what I've seen. Some new RCM recruits get impatient with their muzzle loaders once they've trained with military-grade weapons, but they realize it's worth it in the end.
Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement to front-loaded rifles is a policy enforced by the Moralist International in all the nations of the Real Belt.
Заставляет задуматься перед каждым выстрелом. Это хорошо. Более мощное оружие мы закон.
Imagine if everyone, cops, citizens, had access to firearms that could shoot multiple rounds without pausing to reload. After the first shot, the second, third, and so on come much easier. But back to the investigation.
О, знаете что, хата с бюстом Карл Маркс или кто у них тут, на которого я вроде похож. Помните диалог? Иностранные партизане. Что-то загадочное.
Mysterious? Okay. Either way, we'll know when we find the gun.
Так, окей. Найдите рабочее оружие, которое стреляет пулями калибра. А где его взять-то, блин? Никаких подсказок даже. Офигеть. Так, что там, координация где-то открылась, нет?
The bullet is still...
Интересно, что еще с этой пулькой делать? Ой, не с пулькой, а вообще с этим заданием. Ну, поехали, поспрашиваем. Руби. А, забежим еще в церковь. Там вроде какие-то задания есть. А где церковь? Церковь переехала, что ли? Да, опять я бегаю. Ну и ладно, это тут вообще танцуют.
Hey, her innocence Dolores Day liked little figurines, right? Liked holding little men between her fingers, remember? You have the headless Falcon Rider figurine. You should give it to her. Win her back. So very, very, very nifty. Nifty and mysterious. This is surely what the figurines are for. The mother of humanism stands above you. Why? That does seem to be a problem. Maybe you meant something else? I don't know. What are we thinking of? Part of your mind has gone on to other things already. The mother of humanism towers above you. A wax painting on a cracked pane of glass. Nothing has changed in her expression.
Однажды, встретив ее лично, вы должны будете отдать все, что у вас есть. Довольно странное задание, которое вы сами для себя придумали. Но что уж теперь? Нифига себе.
Why? That does seem to be a problem. The mother of humanism towers above you. A wax...
Yes, we all are. Her name, body, and rule are synonymous with...
The woman looks by in silence, smiling enigmatically.
I have no idea what you...
Ладно.
Yes, what is it? What? No, no one's suspicious around here.
She has not seen her, sire. 'Tis true.
You're asking me to circuit bend onto coalition radio frequencies. You want to know, is it possible? Probably. But is it a good idea? I'm not so sure. The main difficulty will be finding an antenna powerful enough to reach those frequencies. Unfortunately, you can't exactly buy mega long-wave antennas off the shelf.
She's not joking. Even the RCM has to receive special approval from the coalition to access that kind of equipment.
I highly doubt it. That tower is barely able to transmit shortwave signals across the bay. To generate megalow frequencies, we're going to need a much larger antenna.
She has an idea, though. You can see the tiny signal lights firing inside her brain.
I don't see any alternative. We're just going to have to build the antenna ourselves. Because it's a completely different class of antenna. It would be like using a high-end racing carriage where a long-distance lorry is required. We need metal, a lot of it. The taller the structure, the better. Something that is both prominent and easily accessible. If it's near a power source, even better.
Икс.
Yes, what is it?
Концептуализация 28. Что там, 14, у меня 5, девятку надо выкинуть. Не уверен, что хочу прям часто делать. Возьмите ответственность. Офигеть. Какие у меня еще задания? Орудие убийства, непонятно, где его искать. А, ну это может быть мужики, которые с шарами были. Хардкора в музыку Ванейка. Вот сейчас добавим.
Good morning! Yeah! Hardcore! Yeah! It was awesome and scary. Very hardcore. Too hardcore, in fact. I couldn't control it at all. It sucks up all the air in the mix until it's the only thing left. Starts compressing itself and everything around it. Completely fills up the headspace. Extreme!
Это, походу, про ту тишину, которую мы воспроизводили.
Inside your chest, the heart beats still with the after effects of the sound. Imagine if you could harness that power, making it pulse.
Oh! I don't know. Maybe someone can do something with this. I imagine this is the sounds that the future could make. Yeah! Yeah! Remix time! Tape goes here, into deck B.
A hand on his ear, he listens to the audio through his headphones and shouts.
Wow! Did you get this from Arno himself?
A great excitement is bubbling to the surface within him. This is big.
Listen, I'm just going to show it to you. Ready? If only we had the beat for the full assault, it would be unbelievably hyper.
What is this? It's good. How did you guys do that?
Должно быть, мы что-то не знаем.
Yes, but what if Van Eyck based his remix on some forgotten local melody, like a folk song, and you just found the original piece that inspired him to create this jam? That would explain why it fits so well.
Nah, to me it sounds like classic Van Eyck. I don't think he needs any inspiration from folk songs. Maybe he lives in Martinez and just threw away part of his song because he thought it wasn't good enough?
I think it's just happenstance. Chaos in action. Contingencies of our limited existence. That and Egghead's fantastic talent.
Да, диско Elysium он такой.
Noid's right. Egghead's technical talent is the key. No, this is definitely part of the same song. Something cut from it. It fits too well.
Be how it may, if it fits, it fits. Bring up the volume.
What about the bass? Do you have any ideas for that? Yeah, I remember. You said it needs more bass.
I think you might know the answer.
Нам использовать этот сумасшедший звук, которое получило сона, только укротить его, приглушить, превратить в пульсацию. Мне кажется, и так неплохо. Эта мелодия уже до неузнаваемости изменила микс. Теперь он довольно-таки хардкорный. Завершить задание. Не, продолжить.
What about that compressor Andre was setting up to achieve some sort of parallel processing?
Don't be too hard on yourself if you don't figure it out. I think the jam's already pretty ultra.
But it could be hyper hardcore.
Так, давайте создадим микс.
Good morning! Yeah!
Sidechain the beat. Listen, you can use the compressor to select between which track it's compressing, either the auxiliary signal or the main input from the tape. Make it alternate between the signals. The compressor controls the gain based on the level of the signal on the aux sidechain input. It will allow maintaining a loud sound without peaks that fill up all the headspace.
Sidechaining it, you said?
Then he puts on his headphones and his eyes go wide, wider than they've ever gone on drugs. He starts jumping up and down with bliss in total silence, still listening to his headphones.
Hey, what did you do to Egghead Cop Man? Did you break him?
Просто подожди, видишь?
Are you ready, pussy?
Noid straightens his back, ready for the beat.
I was born ready, Egg.
On the stage, intensely waving his hand in the air.
Ну что, как вам? Музыкальная композиция. Мне зашла, прикольная, приятная.
This is beauty! This is life!
What in the world is going on? The way melody and bass flow together, it's unnatural.
Your body is taking a beating from the low frequencies crashing over you. It's making you feel alive again.
А нодному поколению мы укротили звук, подчинили его себе.
Introducing the ultimate sound!
God damn it! This dance club idea might just work out.
DeLorean Church! The place to be! Pump it! Pump it!
Так, отлично. А у нас одним заданием меньше. Тут одним А, вот здесь плюсик. Окей. Бонус предметов плюс 2. Нет, вот минус 1. Самоубийство Красомазова. Вот он. Красмазов. Так, что у меня тут? Арно. Плюс 1 техника, кстати. Временный бонус. Более качественные предметы в запертых контейнерах. Может, выкинуть их? Что-то не помню, где у меня, блин, эти контейнеры-то? А, ну какие-нибудь сейчас встретятся. Давайте болевой порог забудем. Так, и все, у меня ничего нет. А тут у нас что, техник, по-моему, как раз? А, концептуализация.
Close your eyes. Unfold your mental map of Martinez. It's morning. You're standing on the plaza before the whirling in rags. The wind pushes a piece of tear across the cracked tiles. From the north comes the malicious laughter of two children. Your eye follows the tiles west. You see a bench and a few twisted, pitiful trees. Then, just water. From behind you, a low, spectral voice whispers, "Nay." Beyond the unkempt backyard rises a monstrous assemblage of concrete, plaster, and corrugated sheet metal.
А, я знаю, что за антенна. Это лошадь.
The voice again, more urgent now. "Nay." You turn around. The morning sun is blinding. You bring your hand to your brow, and a great shadow materializes before you. A towering beast, frozen in mid-air.
The dead king and his horse. It could work. We'll need an adequate power supply and a great quantity of cable. If we connect the cables to some of the stranded lorries, we could theoretically increase the antenna's wavelength exponentially.
Whatever ambivalence she had about your project before, she's now fully engaged in solving this technical puzzle.
It's completely ridiculous, but I believe we could transform the entire roundabout into one solid fractal antenna.
A note of awe in her voice. She's shocked and pleased by her own audacity.
Yes, very likely the largest private antenna in Revachol. I have plenty of cables and amplifiers on hand. The power supply I will secure on my own. All we require now is the radio transceiver itself. I cannot answer that for you, but I don't expect it to be that difficult. There's no shortage of radios around here. If you have real to spare, you might even be able to buy one. But it doesn't really matter where it comes from, so long as it works.
Блин, такой глобальный квест получился. Какой-то там...
And before you ask, no, you can't have the radio from Machinima.
Не отдаст. Она там стоит рядом. RAM prefect?
Absolutely not. My RAM prefect is my livelihood. If something were to go wrong, it would be a disaster. Certainly, though it requires a fair amount of technical finesse to remove them. Frankly, it's not worth the bother. Just find a regular radio.
А, чё, радио в офисе рядом с портом?
That sounds like a perfectly adequate radio.
В офисе рядом с портом, это где?
I highly doubt that. When I crank the volume on my dyno wave, it's like you're in the front row at the National Concert Hall.
That will be fine. In the meantime, I will gather the rest of the material.
Окей. Возьмите ответственность. Пропавшие насекомые. Куна обещал, что больше не будет. Сообщите криптозоологам, откуда был сделан выстрел. А, блин, еще надо посмотреть эти. Поспрашивать жителей рыбацкой деревни, может, старейшина что-нибудь знает. Предложите Долорес Дэй фигурку. Этого непонятно, как выполнить. Такие самые эти сложные остались. Слушай, а этот... Здесь, кстати, тихо не становится? Нет, просто какие-то дополнительные звуки. Побежали. Подожди, а где это Б-то? Откуда Б? Точка Б. А, вот, кстати, это приплыло. Wild Pines. Где же это, блин, точка Б? Здесь пройти нельзя. Как же я первый раз прошел до того, как я тут перекинул. А, она прям там на причале стоит, понятно. Вот, наверное, да, старейшина.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you. Nay, I haven't seen anyone lately. This is my little cinder block town. I know what goes on around here.
She's being evasive. She knows something.
There was a murder in Martinez. She might be a suspect. We would appreciate your help.
Would you now? I know how this world works, and it doesn't work when people tell on each other. No, it's not like that, man. With him, we called you. Right now, you just arrived by yourself, like a raven plucking at the window glass.
Enough of this. She better start talking right now.
This shit. I'm not going to do your work for you just because you got a potty mouth.
Ну ладно, зря я, конечно, ругался, но все равно. Ты мешаешь. Ты покрываешь убийцу.
I see, ma'am. I hope you don't mind if we look around anyway.
You should look around your shack. Maybe she's rented it out to others too.
Да ладно. Да вот на тебе.
А?
Получай.
I like to see him try. If anything, I am gonna muscle him out with construction noise.
That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Get out of here, trying to ruin my day. And that youth center better be a good one, or you'll have trouble from me. I wield an army of drunks. Do not underestimate the effect of such a force if it's pointed to the right direction.
Согласен.
As you look at the floorboards in this corner of the shack, it's clear one of them isn't quite level with the others. The edge of a floorboard next to it looks scratched. Hollow space underneath the floorboards is dark and damp. You can barely make out the mixture of sand and sawdust below. Nothing particular catches your eye. Looks like more reeds. There might be something hidden inside the sand, though. You stick your hand in and start combing through the sand. Dry, not like outside. Fine dust. And then something hard wrapped in paper. A small cylindrical object. You pull it out. A bullet. A 9mm bullet, to be exact. Fit for all muzzle loaders of that caliber. Like your own Villiers pistol, for example. The floorboard isn't interested. Maybe the washerwoman is. You have enough to confront her with. Holding the bullet, you get the feeling this isn't ammunition against you. It's for herself.
Ничего не понял. Но очень интересно.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up. Damn that girl.
A bullet? You didn't put it there, did you? She did.
Gone and hid things in there? She's usually a good tenant, and not a stupid one either. Yes, I let my room to that Ruby girl. As I've done before when she's been in trouble or just looking for solitude. I've made it clear. We welcome all kinds of people here. She came last Friday, left on Monday in a hurry. What has she gotten herself into? That girl.
She seems genuinely worried about her previous tenant. She's seen her hiding out from trouble before, but this seems different.
That's for the police to find out. Right then, please answer each question to the best of your ability. I'm sure we have a few.
Yes, early with the dogs, around 8 o'clock, I think.
She probably heard the lieutenant's Kanema drive by, and it woke her up, just like it did you.
Yes. That is a downside of having a 130 kilowatt engine. It lets the bad guys know when you are coming.
I cleaned it, like I always do. No,
The truth, sire.
she's good company. Knows how to talk to an old woman. At my age, you don't get a lot of quality conversation. So I really appreciate that about her.
Did she talk to you much during her last stay?
No, she was mostly silent this time, kept to herself. She tried not to let it show, but I could tell she hadn't come to fish. Usually she likes to cast a few lines, but this time she mostly stayed in her room. How would I know? She's a gruff one, but not violent. She doesn't go around toting a gun.
You could ask her about your hunch, that it was a desperate measure. See if she thinks Ruby fits the bill.
Do tell.
Это чайка. Так, это план побега. Хотя, если подумать, я лучше понял. Это план побега
Exit from what?
и жизни от всего этого.
The lieutenant stops writing for a moment. He looks at you, then at the old woman.
No, she's a fighter.
Not a quitter, like you sometimes get, son. She really believes that.
Nothing of the sort. Sure, she was no stranger to the bottle. She fit in that way. But I only knew her to have a beer on the beach while watching the sunset. She isn't what you'd call a drunk. Even offered me some from time to time. Said it was part of the communal life. But I never saw her lose control of herself the way some people do. I don't know. Further up the coast, she tried to leave quietly, but the hinges on that door screeched like a cat in heat. Woke me up. I heard her rushing in those heavy boots, heading up north.
It's a peninsula. She might be trapped.
You'll never find her, you know. She knows the coast like the back of her hand. You only just arrived.
I wouldn't worry about that, ma'am. We are persistent.
На север, да, туда куда-то.
Yes, it's going to be too much work for you to find her. Better for you to stay here, get a nice cozy fire going in the heater.
The failed electric mural. You feel like you should go look at it again. Step closer this time.
Здесь разжечь приятный теплый огонек в печке.
What more do you want? Yes, let's hear the one thing, officer.
She really means it. It's an honest plea.
Я пропустил. Одна просьба офицера, если вы ее найдете, пожалуйста, не обращайтесь с ней слишком сурово, она оглядывается по сторонам. Воздух становится все холоднее.
She's a good girl. Whatever she's gotten herself mixed up in.
Ну окей. Так, есть алкаши. Вас спрашиваете о Руби. Руби ушла из деревни, отправилась вверх по побережью. Окей, окей. Ну, побежали. Второй заход. Так, они сказали про мурал. Где-то там. А, ну вот этот такой.
You see a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the years, but you can still make out Feld Electrical R&D. A slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now only a shadow of peeled letters remains. It says, "Tomorrow is just a whisper away." Above the mural, a collapsed roof, broken windows set in walls that are cracking and will soon also fall, and the coastal breeze rustling and sighing in the remains of the edifice. Feld Electrical, you only know them as a small company that makes ink cartridges. Looks like they used to be big. There's something in the wind. Sometimes the only way to go forward is to fail first. Indeed, somehow you knew it was here, an urban ruin gutted by looters that once used to consume money and dispense warmth and light. You felt it before when it rained in Martinez, and you felt the cold of the rain. The feeling persists. It has been in you ever since.
In there? She could. Or she could be in the identical room over there, or in that boat shack. In that church tower, maybe.
Лодочный сарай, может, в этой церковной колокольне. Каждый пальцем куда-то тебе за спину. Может быть, в идентичном разрушенном здании или в лодочном сарае. Может, в этой церковной колокольне.
Why single out this one building?
О. Блин, 97 трепет, ё-моё.
The once bright mural towers above you, saying, Feld Electrical R&D. Tomorrow is just a whisper away.
Ну, понятно, понятно. Так, нашел пустую ловушку, установил сцену казни, сделал ужасный звонок, разобрался с мусоркой, организовал ночной клуб, нашел аномалию, уведомление о смерти, нашел куртку. Сколько тут 20-ка нужна была? Я изучил этот остров вдоль поперек. У меня 9 на это. Своего трепет каким-то образом. И тут еще тяжело посчитать сколько.
Even though you're sure you succeeded, all is quiet. There is no cold hand brushing against your forehead. No rustle in the reeds. The wind has died down. The ruin in front of you is silent as a tomb.
Ее здесь нет, что ли? Ее здесь нет. Что я пытался добиться?
Trying to talk to the wind, the city, whatever you thought would happen, did not. And now you're just standing there in the dusk hour, with your hands fallen to your side.
А, понятно, пытались. Как раз нам давали мы весь остров, ну, полуостров изучили и пытались по ветру понять, где она может находиться.
Is trying to talk to the city something you've done before? Is it in your secret repertoire? A trick for when you're out of ideas?
How do we? I was really hoping she'd be in the village. Okay. She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. We already scanned most of the outdoor areas on our wild cryptid hunt, so we have an understanding of the geography, at least. And then there's the church. We've already searched that and can rule it out. I know it doesn't feel like progress, but exclusion is a step too. Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way. sector by sector. Go over the whole peninsula, ask the locals, enter the places where we can enter first, like we did in the village. Then, if we're desperate, we can look where we can't enter. Bunkers, tomb drainage, displays. I'm sure it won't come to that.
Бункер или ливневую канализацию — это место, но уверен, это не понадобится. Она оборачивается и смотрит на ветхую темно-красную коробку по ту сторону пропасти.
Walk the coast, the old boardwalk, the reeds. You can always come back here and talk to the wind again. Look where it already got you. Buckle up and raise your collar. This search is going to be wet and cold.
Окей. Я так понимаю, нам разблокировали, потому что мы уже
The once bright mural
побегали.
towers above you, saying, suddenly there's a sigh, carried on the molecules around you, moving, flowing from high pressure to low pressure, like that of a woman emptying her lungs. She wraps the collapsing stone box in front of you in her breath, flowing through it.
Так это ж трепет. Трепет мне рассказывает о том, что вокруг происходит в других местах. Подожди, трепет. Почувствуйте дрожь. Настройтесь на городскую волну. На высоких уровнях. Окружающим может казаться, что вы не в себе, когда с вами говорит голос города. Вы слышите только его. Вышестоящие лица могут забеспокоиться. С другой стороны, на низких уровнях улицы практически не будут с вами говорить. А как вы спасете город, который не слышите?
In through the collapsed roof, flowing down a concrete staircase to the basement, sweeping away footprints in the dust on the stairs. And then the beach below the boardwalk. Its winding tunnels, a whisper away.
Высоко вот это будто воздух через обрушившуюся дверь по бетонной лестнице вниз в подвал. Сметает отпечатки ног на пыльных ступеньках, а затем на пляж.
She's down there.
Okay. Why?
Надо ли это говорить?
So, how do we get in there? The doors were on the collapsed side of this building. They're gone, basically.
Finally, my time to shine.
Великолепно.
Perhaps you can climb them. We are not climbing anything. I'm 43 years old, and I plan to live to see 70.
There has to be a way to use brute force. Climbing sounds unsafe. Brute force is safe. Look around and find something to break if the ladder fails.
Грубая сила безопасна. Так, осмотрись, найди что-нибудь, что можно сломать, если с лестницы не получится. Есть лестница, а есть что-то сломать. Так, интересно. Так, эквилибристика, надо подготовиться. А что у меня там есть? Моторика плюс. Под амфетаминами это легче делать, понятно. Блин, что-то наркотики все в одном месте. Так, ну, подожди, во-первых, эквилибристика. Подожди.
A rusty ladder leads to the rooftop. Some of the rungs are missing.
Yeah, that doesn't look good at all.
The distances between the remaining rungs are rather wide. You'd have to use the mounting brackets. However, they seem corroded and the peeling rust is razor sharp. In addition, the first rung is going to be tough to reach. It's what, 3 meters above the ground, and you're 180? Okay, but still, the roof is collapsing and the wind gets pretty brutal up there. Dismounting from the ladder is going to be hard. Perhaps if you were to not climb the ladder. Instead, what if you were to do something more subtle? What if you were to reconceptualize climbing the ladder? Yeah, because falling from that height seems, well, splat. So don't do that. Just, you know.
Телепортируюсь.
Teleportation is not a thing.
Попытка не пытка.
Okay, let's say teleportation is a thing. Wouldn't you need some kind of scientific apparatus to create a teleportation field? You can't just do it without apparatus. Oh yes, it could hurt a lot.
Так, ну там шанс, конечно, это серьезно. Блин, чего нельзя просто тут пройти? А это что такое? А, это вниз. Это грубая сила, да, у нас? О, подожди, что такое? Мне показалось? Что это такое? Нет, не показалось. Отверстие в бетоне. Что это? Канализация? Ну все, пропало. Заберитесь по лестнице на крышу или найдите другой способ попасть в здание.
An old pipe peeks out from beneath the rotting boards of the boardwalk. Could this be an alternative path into the fell building? A building like this must have multiple doors serving various functions. Perhaps a basement access. Your eyes slowly begin to adjust to the darkness inside the drainage pipe. The lieutenant looks over your shoulder. At first, you can't make anything out in the darkness at all. As your eyes adjust, you see some trash. Crumpled up newspapers, cigarette butts. Someone has half-heartedly spray-painted skulls on the right side. And nothing. Broken glass from bottles thrown against the walls of the pipe. A syringe.
Given that this isn't a martial arts thriller, it's highly unlikely, and not without risk to our health either. However, the pipe suggests there may be an entrance to the basement around. And it's right here, a maintenance door.
It's jammed shut. The subtle approach isn't going to work on this one. Oh yeah, big boy time. This needs you to put your back into it. The metal doors are heavy and the flaking rust hurts your palms. But together with the lieutenant, you manage to slide them open just enough to squeeze in.
Тоже один пробираюсь.
Good work. Shall we?
Так, мысль какая-то прилетела.
Honor Van Eyck. Okay, so Egghead is clearly not Van Eyck in disguise. Van Eyck is an Oranese disc jockey, but those people get around, especially in Revachol, in the clubs on Boogie Street. Perhaps he stayed here for a short stint and discarded part of the song he was working on, just threw it away, and then it ended up in the hawthorn tree. But why? Did he think it was retrograde? It wasn't. Perhaps he caught a glimpse of the future and did not want for it to arrive just yet. Perhaps the city whispered the top line to him, and he was frightened by it.
О, моторик. Разблокировали все белые проверки. Открывает плакаты концертов Арно Ван Эйка во всем мире. Бонусы от мысли. Ну, посмотрим, что за плакаты. Это выйти. Не помешал достать фонарик, не помешало бы. Отличная мысль. Отлично. Крысятина. Перевернутый стол, покрыт оранжевой плесенью, в которой что-то копошится. Древняя офисная мебель, может, прошлого века. Потолок обрушился и практически перекрыл проход в подвал. Протиснуться можно с трудом. Но можно. Потом протиснемся. Желтый, это что такое? В ящиках старые папки для бумаг. На них серебристая плесень. Куча толстых стеклянных панелей, покрытых пылью. Текс. Подожди, а где у меня там? Находить более качественные предметы в запертых контейнерах. Вот это интересно, запертый контейнер. Просто у меня инструменты в руках. Одно внушение. Какой-то пиджак. Блин, что тут огромная территория, офигеть. Может, сначала туда залезть? Луч фонарик освещает проем в стене. Туда не попасть, а здесь какая-то мысль. Ага. Что, нашел путь? Да, он нашел путь. Запах и пыль. Здесь никто не спал уже много месяцев, а может и лет. Шапка революционера. Социал-экономическому мазовизму +1. На двухъярусной кровати разбросаны древние листовки и брошюры, революционная пропаганда. Кастрюли и тарелки покрыты пылью и затянуты паутиной. О, это One Egg?
A mustachioed and mutton-chopped man, amateurishly depicted, gazes at you with sad eyes. A plaque reads, K. Mazov. There is a spider web in the lower left corner of the portrait. Years' worth of dust is shaken off. The full head of hair, matched by an ample moustache and sideburns, look a bit silly. Someone crouches, heels digging into wet sand. Hands sweep across the sand. Grains stick into the frayed skin of the fingertips. An old man sits on a slab of concrete and taps his fingers against the glass of a scope. You shudder.
Some radical or radicals were hiding out here. They left a long time ago. Half a century? This was probably part of the network of defense posts the communards built against the amphibious landing. I think the purpose of this bunker was to produce propaganda. It would have had radio equipment back then, but that's all been looted.
Эх, жалко.
We have found a lot of those lately. I guess what most people think of as history tends to linger in rundown neighborhoods. Martinez being what it is, no one has gone through the trouble of cleaning out the old bunkers.
Good hiding place for someone who's up to no good.
I won't stand in your way, but only after we're through with this case. Millions of depictions of Mazov have been produced. They're not all connected. Besides, that looked like some student. The youths always go for this kind of stuff. You mean like Ruby? No, I think we've stumbled on a piece of history.
Наружу ты уже видел там амбразуру. Тихо.
Could this have been the killer's hideout? And this narrow window, the point of origin of the shot that killed the mercenary?
Ух ты.
The lights of Martinez shine coolly in the clear night.
Это у нас точка обстрела.
It's a great place to hide, and Mazovianism and murder are certainly not mutually exclusive. But there hasn't been anyone here in ages.
Стреляли не отсюда.
Indeed. no one could get a clear view. Well, at least we've been thorough. I like thorough. In fact, I think we're done with this bunker. After you, officer.
Окей. След ботинок на песке. Одна подошва кажется более стертой, чем другая. Это 8-й, этот Харда. Становится шумно, слышно какой-то гул. Это лабиринт, блин. Че прям...
Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed. Aggressive white noise fills your skull. A strange pain, like you've never felt before. Through the static, you hear a woman's voice.
Офигеть.
It's like 1,000 radio stations are being blasted into your head all at once. But her words are the only ones you can make out.
I know you're feeling pretty uncomfortable right now. Don't move too much or fight it. That'll just make it worse.
Произносит призрачная фигура рядом с прибором.
Can't say it's a pleasure, officer. I was really hoping not to make your acquaintance. But here we are.
As she says the word officer, you feel a spike in the agony. It sounds like the entire radio frequency range is screaming directly into your neural pathways.
Закрыть уши, не закрывать.
No, buddy, that's not going to help. You can't shield yourself from this. It's an entirely new type of experience. Way worse than all the previous ones. Don't focus on the pain. Focus on doing your job. Tell her she's under arrest.
No, I'm not going to fucking kill you. If that had been my plan, you'd be dead already. All things considered, I'm being pretty reasonable here.
Довольно разумно веду.
I'm using a pale latitude compressor. You and your partner have been caught in its field. Wow, check out the big brains on you. You're not entirely wrong. A pale latitude compressor is used to sort of make the pale more manageable. With a lot of these, you can force a radio signal grid on the pale, literally crunch the distance across it. Signals are relayed across a series of repeater stations fixed to buoys. Not a fun job manning those stations. All alone out there in the pale, people lose their minds in just a few years.
So, what we are experiencing is a concentration of radio waves.
Precisely. This is an industrial strength paraboloid. It's meant for forcing dimensions on something that doesn't have them. Needless to say, the frequencies used are out of this world.
Интересно, как аватарка будет выглядеть с этим кадром.
At the upper limit is the large prime number generator station. It's used specifically for pale latitude compression. That's why you may be hearing some numbers. But you might also hear, or think you're hearing, local radio chatter.
She likes telling you about the machine. Keep her talking. Look for an opportunity to break loose.
I built it myself.
That's illegal. I'm guessing it's patented. But we are beyond that, aren't we?
Блин, Кима прикольно слышать в новом состоянии, да?
Oh yeah, way beyond.
Совершенно не актуально.
No, once I shut down the compressor, the pain will end. It may take a few minutes for you to steady yourself though. It's a bit like waking out of a very confusing dream. Yeah, I stuck my head in there before using it on you. It seemed like the ethical thing to do. Can't say that I enjoyed it. The field was weaker, but I can imagine what you're going through. Yeah, let's not talk about that shit. You were hunting me and fell into my trap instead. That's all there is to say about it.
So she thinks of you as hunters, not cops, and of herself merely as prey.
If you've got something really important to say, you can do it through the white noise.
Turn this.
God damn it. Fine. If you really want to talk, I can dial it down. I've also got a gun, by the way.
The gun she's carrying is a 2-barreled front loader, not like the murder weapon. Well, it doesn't feel much better, but you can form sentences now. Thinking doesn't seem to hurt as much.
Порог 97. Инструмент в активном инвентаре. Как не повезло. Уничтожить прибор. Да ты застрелил Лэля. Ну, это, в принципе, ничего не мешает мне, да? Не предпринимать попытки сломать компрессор. А эти мне плюс-минус дадут, наверное. Это ты застрелила Лэля.
I heard you in the passages, and I've been preparing for quite a while.
А, он прячет пули под полом.
So you found my shack, huh? I'm not surprised.
Тут наверняка плюс будет. Хотя, при чем здесь плюс? Непонятно.
Her tone is bitter. She thinks she's been betrayed.
А, ее предали. Она тебя, кстати, не выдала. Зачем прятать пулю? Это один из 3 вариантов у нас. Готовилась к перестрелке, поэтому прятал боеприпасы. Боеприпасы. Зачем прятать пулю? Не, давайте обелим Изабель.
So nice. That's one knife I didn't want to find in my back.
А, нет, смотри, по одному они уходят.
This could have turned out pretty bad for me if you hadn't walked right into 25 bands of ultra-high frequencies.
Чё, ну зачем прятать пулю? Если бы вы не попались в ловушку, частот, все могло бы закончиться гораздо хуже. Как именно? Ты бы себя застрелил, ты бы нас застрелил. Что за пуля? Мне кажется, пуля от другого оружия, нежели она держит в данный момент.
That's her admitting the bullet was an emergency exit.
А, ну да, то есть она себя собиралась пристрелить. Плюс не появилась. Ну, блин, не знаю, это ты застрелила?
No, I didn't do it. I only helped stage the lynching, though I doubt that makes much of a difference to you. Who ratted me out, by the way? Was it Titus? No, he wouldn't have broken first.
Первой своими сомнениями поделилась Классея. Я пригрозил Классее арестом, и она сломалась. Я сказал, Классея, у нее нет никакой женской солидарности. Арест.
Oh, well, I guess I always knew she was a survivor above all else. But she couldn't have known I was on the coast. How did you find me?
Недалеко от истины первые. Твои парни рассказали, что тебе нужно. Надо с ним немного поработать.
Oh, fuck. Took some convincing my ass. And those guys liked me, I know it. This is what happens to people whom people like.
A dull despair is creeping into her voice.
How the fuck do the rest of you get by?
назвала меня открывашкой. Я просто заставил.
I did, didn't I? Now you've come for me. Fuck them all the same.
That did make her forgive them a little.
What shit? I told you I didn't do it. Sounds pretty simple to me.
Я сказала тебе, что никого не убивала. Так, я здесь случайно оказался. Ты можешь объяснить, что за херня творится? А причем здесь? Что творится? Кто? Ну, хоть какую-то инфу дай. Кто, по-твоему, убил?
A strong moral compass. She still wants the opportunity to make a case for herself.
Может быть, стоило вырубить сразу? Ну, или хотя бы попытаться вырубить. Там 97%.
I didn't like him. Hardened mercenaries aren't particularly likable types.
Мне не нравятся суровые наемники, не самые. Было более личное, что тебе не нравилось, в отношении с женщинами. Подвести итоги. Ты считал, что профсоюз нуждается в защите.
You think I was envious of his conquests? Look, pussy's not a problem for me. And definitely not a reason to off someone.
И все.
See her confident gaze, her toned arms. Yeah, she wouldn't have had much trouble in the intimacy department.
Plenty of broken people who don't come with that kind of body count. Besides, they're paid well for what they do. Yeah, sure. And I didn't like Wild Pines sending in those foreign hirelings. Me and a fuck ton of other people around here.
She didn't hate him, okay?
I'm listening. Man, I was with the boys the whole night. I hope they at least bothered to impress that upon you.
Полчаса.
Yeah, and I'm sure they also made some funny remarks about it. They always do. I've driven a lot of long haul and chugged a lot of beer, man. Can't do either without some power of mind over bladder. And anyway, that wouldn't have been enough time. Wow, now I'm curious. Please, explain.
Ты играешь в пинбол.
Don't know it, but also... The shot couldn't have come from the roof, or we would have all heard it downstairs.
She has a point there. No one mentioned.
Права, никто не говорил, что слышал.
And the gun store, trigger Happy Jacks.
Серьезно, сорви голова?
What did you think? That I'm going to squeal on my gun supplier? Sorry, I'm not that kind of gal. Sure don't.
A breech loader?
No. A Noctway 80 front loader. 2-barreled. Not really what you were looking for, I'm guessing.
That isn't it.
No, they're not practical. Break too often.
A doubt creeps over you. She sounds so sure of everything. So, not guilty.
Ну, невиновна. Фиг его знает. Еще дальше нас пускает. Еще один поворот, который я хочу тебя спросить.
Yeah, evidence. I considered her a good friend, yeah. What the hell, man? Yeah, why not? I've gotten worse.
Так ты любительница? Какого хрена? Почему нет? Мне и похуже называть. Она же сама говорила, пусси. Достать пусси не проблема. В чем? Не понимаю, в чем диссонанс. Тебе нравится подглядывать?
I'm not following your clever insinuations, detective.
Там есть дыра в стене. Просто дыра в стене в номере классе довольно подозрительно. Я не стал бы осуждать.
If I want to stare at a pretty girl, I can pick one up at a bar. Or, worst case scenario, look at a naughty photo. Who has time to go skulking about the whirling, drilling holes in walls? Nope. Look, she has an effect on people. That je ne sais quoi that makes it impossible not to look at her when she walks into the room, and very difficult to look away. But travel enough and you realize, for the same reason that she's everyone's type as an object of desire, she's not irreplaceable.
Wrong. That kind of pussy is never replaceable.
Oh, so that's where you were going with this. That's a very sentimental way of putting it. We both had pasts we didn't want to catch up with us, and we enjoyed listening to music together. Why not go on a road trip?
The lieutenant watches her expectantly, occasionally shaking from the pain.
Okay, fine. I was into her. Clausy was into me too for a time, I know it. We even fooled around once. And yeah, after that I thought maybe we could make a go of it.
Clausia only said they maybe kissed. Someone is lying here. She touched that radiant beauty, that silver wellspring of desire.
If that's what she wants on the record, so be it. I'm not about to go into details for you to jerk off to later.
Я ее арестую.
Seriously, just move on.
Не, если она меня обманула, то она арестована.
Really? Is that blood on the ground before you? Are your ears bleeding?
Yeah, really? She rejected me with some wishy-washy bullshit about how she was confused because she felt so close to me and valued my friendship so much, and how guilty she felt for leading me on. I knew that wasn't the whole story, but thought, fine, I'll take it and move on.
No ill will there. It wasn't a problem for her.
Yeah, one time when we'd both been drinking, I said some heated things about how dangerous her patterns with men were. I was a little worried she'd blow it out of proportion in her head. All the drugs she was doing can make you feel like you're living in a DeLorean tragedy. Yeah, the girl seemed terrified. The merc was beyond caring what happened to his mortal coil. It was a no-brainer. Go ahead. It's your body.
And mine too, he thinks. But keep on. This must be done.
Who doesn't? Oh, you probably mean Clausia's rooftop. Sure, I've hung out there. She's got this great antenna. It's very powerful. I used it to tune into RCM frequencies. That's how I knew to be prepared for your arrival.
Что я... То есть она была... Уже после убийства у нее, окей.
The view's pretty bomb too. But you might say the antenna was the main attraction there, yeah. Along with Clausia. Yes, I'm sure. And anyway, as I said before, the shot had to have come from afar.
Блин, как ты это решила-то?
Yeah? Where?
Давайте болевой порог бахнем. Чё она не стреляет-то? Я думаю, я просто кину. И лишусь.
You did it. The compressor lies broken on its side. It's quiet in your head again. It still hurts like hell, but...
Еще чертовски больно, но шепнуть через плечо. Ты в порядке, Ким? Ты арестована. Видишь эти фейерверки? Быстро оглянул. Что за фейерверки? Вообще о Киме хочу позаботиться.
All good, officer. Be careful.
She looks at the machine, assessing the damage. Her hand trembles.
Oh, fuck it.
Ой-ой-ой. Блин, я бы мог ее дальше допрашивать, если бы не сломал. Давай вперед, позволь себе застрелиться. Ёпарасете.
Problem solving.
Ma'am, put the gun down. That's not the solution to your problems. You are...
Oh, yes, it is.
Ё-моё. Допрос не допрос. Блин, теперь жалею, что сломал.
You should know the words to say. You've been here yourself. So why is it not coming to you? Because you've been going around pointing a gun at yourself, trying to answer the same question in vain. Her finger squeezes the trigger now. No, wait. Finally, it comes to you. A way to connect with her.
Что, у меня есть шанс?
She flashes you an incredulous grin. Then she exhales sharply, shakes her head, and pulls the trigger. You watch as her brains trickle out through her neon hair.
Fuck.
Жесть, что здесь вообще происходит?
Our job. It went really bad. And now we need to clean it up.
She died. How can he be so cold?
Ну, поэтому проверка была настолько простая. На грубую силу или что-то там.
Lieutenant Yefreitor Dubois, control your emotions. We did our job. This won't be the worst thing that happens on this case, believe me. You can't let this break you.
There is no coming back from this one. It will stay with you.
Нет, я не нажму. С меня хватит. Ладно, взять себя в руки.
We clean up. It may take days for processing to pick up her body. We need to move it somewhere. That tent, there.
Так, пестик берем. Капсульный. Капсульный, это значит, ну вот как и все это оружие. Одну пульку закидываешь. А, во, подхиляться. Блин, ну я так и знал, что здесь где-то подхиляться можно будет. Эх, блин. Впереди, насколько хватает взгляда, лишь темная вода, а выхода здесь нет. В смысле, а как мы вообще сюда прошли? А, ну мы под пирсом, да, сейчас находимся, понятно.
The plain red tent stands by dispassionately. It was pitched by practiced hands. She was used to camping out. You see a rolled up sleeping bag and personal belongings.
We should put her in the sleeping bag, so the rats don't get to her.
The lieutenant nods. There she lies, cocooned in the sleeping bag, surrounded by empty cigarette packs, books, and half-read magazines. Magazines? You should look through them. Assorted soft covers, mostly pulp horror. A motor carriage lies buried in the snow on one cover. On another, a ghost airship. You also see a collection of radio enthusiast magazines.
See anything?
Rager Monthly, Journal of Material Science. More Technological Digest. One of the magazines doesn't have images on the cover. It's not a magazine, it's a leather notebook. You pocket the worn brown leather journal.
Блин, да как вот на самом деле это перезагрузиться и допросить ее побольше.
We should read this immediately, like right now.
Время уже 9. Не, он хочет прямо сейчас читать, окей. У меня теперь 2 пистолета аж. И Вилье. Так, что там по... Ой. Внушение. Внушение, наверное, надо было одеть. Кстати, прикольная шапка. С рогами и звездой. Так, ну поехали.
A thick journal. The cover is worn like someone used to carry it around in their back pocket. It's made of full-grain leather. The lower left corner of the back cover sports an embossed brand name, Schneller. Schneller is a stationery brand from Gottwald, beloved among architects and engineers.
Так, а что у меня по очкам? Нормально все. По очкам все хорошо.
She had good taste and must have taken what she recorded here seriously. The journal falls open. About 2/3 of its ruled pages have been filled. The large cursive of someone who writes quickly and confidently. Perhaps too confidently. Many phrases and even paragraphs have been crossed out, with tiny corrections scrawled above and in the margins. It's a mix of logistical notes, diagrams, and personal reflections, all dated.
We could learn a lot from this.
Да, дневничок нашли.
Short, wry observations of people and places, probably a way to pass the time on the road. Also, what appears to be attempts to sort through some difficult decisions. There are a few passages with many questions in them.
Несколько записей со множеством знаков вопроса.
Hard to tell exactly. It's mostly noted down in code. Looks like contact information, quantities, directions.
There could be useful information about local operations in those notes. We have a junior sergeant at my station who's good with codes. I can give this to her after we finish this.
Professionalism is his coping mechanism. Esoteric radio technology. The most recent ones probably pertain to the latitude compressor, sketches, calculations of distance and density. You make out a familiar spiral shape. The first entry is from August 2nd of last year. It reads simply, I know my position is precarious. All I can do is make myself as useful as I can while looking for a way out. Remember, no one is indispensable. Nothing on March 4th. March 5th, though, well, that's bound to come back and bite me in the ass. I'm bad at this. Loyal to a fault. But that's another matter entirely.
Что ж, об этом я еще пожалею. Мне плохо дается такое. Я преданный до безобразия. За исключением. Но это уже совсем другой разговор.
She is referring to betraying her previous employer. Does this suggest she did it in self-defense?
Предательство бывшим. По ее версии, это была самозащита. Снова взглянуть на обложку, закончить с дневником, что говорится в последней записи. Снова взглянуть на
The thick
обложку.
journal bound in brown leather is full of...
Понятно, это последнее.
The most recent entry is from today. It reads, even when I leave here, if I leave here alive, what's my next move? Staging a lynching is a crime, even if I'm not accused of murder on top of that. Forever on the run. Not really my idea of the open road. Man, I was really looking forward to winning.
I don't think she killed the mercenary. It looks like she might have been framed. Too bad we didn't really get to hear her side of the story.
Да, жаль, что мы так и не выслушали ее часть истории, ее версию.
This whole thing was a detour, and a fatal one, he thinks.
Да, это был ложный след, ё-моё.
Don't get emotional.
Зря она убила наемника, потом сама застрелилась. Весь разговор дело в шляпе. Что ты имеешь в виду, говоря, могли подставить?
By the Hardy Boys, by Classier, by us.
Убил наемника.
Classier was the one who pointed the finger at Ruby. Perhaps she was trying to steer us away from herself, or...
На Руби указала нам Классье. Может, она хотела отвлечь внимание от своей персоны, или... Не знаю. Но выстрела никто не слышал.
Maybe she had an accomplice. Either way, we need to keep an eye on her. One thing is for certain. We have business back in the whirling in rags. Questions to ask. We should get to it.
Понятно. Так, а сейчас он повезет, да? Он же собирался повезти. Так, определить, откуда был сделан выстрел. Проверить траекторию выстрела с острова. Край земли с пирса. Что за остров? Заговор о подстрекательстве раскрыт. Возвращайтесь в танцы. Кое-кто должен ответить за это. А там уже, наверное, что-то произошло. Еще и эту не видел. Юриста, девчонку. Она пошла гулять куда-то. Бетонная труба. Погребенная под песком и пылью. Трепетом обладания. Крутые шмотки додают. Немного реальчиков. Так, тут не пройти. Аж вот так. Туннель обрушен, придется найти другой путь. Окей. Блин, да, это печально с этой Руби все. Части моя вина.
This isn't just glass. These are old computation components. Yes, filament memories. From the time when wires were cast in glass, slides with an inlaid nervous system.
So it is. I think these used to form a single system, slotted in the wall.
The how was a closely guarded secret. Something that was locked in safes in human heads across the river where they were manufactured. As to why, your fingers don't know. The why is easy, because they hadn't come up with modern silicon-based systems yet. For vitreous cast filament memories, though, these seem incredibly advanced.
The rest of the building seems to have been picked clean. These? No. These are old filament memories. I hope you're not expecting to find that device here. You will be disappointed.
Полярная куртка. Хорошая. Как раз поэтому по берегу бегать. Еще открытка. Стекло покрыто сажей и пылью, почти ничего не видно. Ух ты. Как интересно. Трепет? Камни падают вниз, лететь им долго. С налетевшим порывом ветра высота кажется головокружительной. Центральная опора уничтожила выстрелами. И что? Тут ничего не сделаешь. А, это если бы я забрался. Я бы так спускался, понятно. Окей. Так, все разошлись. Им не просят дневник на экспертизу. А, это недоступно. Ну, жаль. Я бы крутанул сейчас. Остатки плаката, дата 46 год. Имя едва различимо. Арн в Эйк. И все? А зачем это надо? Так, а где тогда еще один место для стрельбы-то? Так, что тут? Предметы. Открытка. Определить, откуда был. Проверьте траекторию выстрела с острова. Блин, да где же это? Остров-то где? Что имеется в виду? Так, это выстрел с края земли. Это там на самом верху. Выстрел с пирса и с острова. Что за остров? Так, время позднее. Бля, где девчонка-то это? Юрисконсульт там или кто она там? Просто чтобы вы знали, она умерла.
The old woman still sings. There's a gap where the name of that song should be. You should ask her about it right now.
Yes, I can't really sleep anymore. Only a few hours a night. It happens when you grow older. My suggestion is don't grow any older than you already are. That's old enough. What's troubling your mind? A lullaby my mother used to sing. I sang it to my kids too. It's an old Samaritan children's song. Surrender to the night.
That's kind of grim for a children's song, even if it is a lullaby.
Yes, it does.
Икс, ну ладно, давайте-то в следующей серии двинем дальше крутить этот клубочек.
I'm afraid we don't have time for rest stops right now, officer. We should really get back to the whirling.
Интересно. Окей, вернемся в танце в следующей серии. Аким этого и не заметит, что началась новая серия. Спасибо, что до сюда досмотрели. Поддержите лайками обязательно. Те, кто досматривает до сюда, уж точно должны прожать. Я на вас сильно рассчитываю. Ну и все. Всем хорошего настроения. Скоро увидимся. Пока. Не болейте.